Right, we get to the second and last race of Micromax's campaign towards an international trophy ticket to Le Mans, and the grid is as follows. On pole position, representing the Netherlands, is Dean Hugendoorn, with Karel Stout from Belgium alongside. Then we have Mies Huben and Mick Vandenberg, who are battling with each other after, who are battling each other all the way through the first final a bit earlier on, with Erik Poulsen and Scott Marsh ending up rounding out the top three rows. Then we've got Bos Maximov, Van der Rooyen, Tihon Rodkin, Tom Pappenberg, who will be looking to make amends for what happened to him earlier on this morning, but we'll have to start from 10th position, and alongside will be Jake Menton in the number 31. They go into the formation lap. We'll have 14 minutes plus one additional lap here under what has been a bit of a deluged, wet and windy karting Genk. So it's going to be a tricky one out there for all of the drivers concerned, all 11 of them. So there are 14 minutes set on the timer. There'll be an additional lap afterwards. The lap times will have dropped off in terms of the weather conditions, and also the fact that the drivers will be feeling the wet, they'll be feeling the cold. But they are racers. They want to be out there. It is their choice. It is their call. And let's see what can happen as they come through turn 10. All 11 drivers making it through so far, with Dean Hugendoorn on pole position, Karel Stout alongside on the front row. And they are making us wait with bated breath and anticipation here for Micromax final number 2 here at Karting Genk, the home of champions. Will Hugendoorn run away with it like he did in the first final? We are about to find out. Into the tram lines we go. Red lights, go. No, full start. Again, another formation lap. I don't think, and everyone's indicating that they've noticed that it has been declared a false start. And now, as early as turn number 3, we have very much a case of this is going to be the slowest formation lap I think I will have seen since I started commentating here in April on 2018. But I'm sure that the wait is absolutely going to be worth it. Now they've still a full. It's always going to be a full course yellow when they are on a formation lap here. So the leaders now come through turn 7. Your running order is Hugendoorn, Stout, Huben, Vandenberg, Poulsen, Marsh, Maximov, Rooyen, Rodkin, Pappenberg and Menton. As always, the Micromax category never fails to disappoint in the action that they showcase, even at their young age, aged anywhere between 8 to 11. And in the UK, the equivalent would be cadets. But also Micromax has run over there late last year. So now that is a perfect line astern formation, 2x2 for the rolling start. So once again, timer reset to 14 minutes plus 1 additional lap. Red lights waiting to go out and fade to black to signal the start of this race. And there are a couple of drivers on the field that are not happy with how long this has taken. And what this has done is it's going to compromise everybody, I fear, because of the fact that they have run quite slowly, probably around 20 kilometers an hour. Now the speed increases. Now the revs rise. Red lights, do they go out? Yes or no? Again, it's a second false start. Now, I think for the drivers in particular, they want to get the racing done. And I could see a couple of, I think it was in the mid-pack that I saw that a couple of drivers were not very happy with the fact that people were just, they were doing one or two things, biding their time or just looking to put the balance in their favour. And this is where the mind games come in, because they say that racing isn't just about the physical attributes of the driver in particular. It's also about the mentality. It's also about the fact of who wants it the most. So that formation lap now looks a little bit quicker. That's a bit better. That is about double speed of what it was the last lap as they come through turn 8. And in many respects, now we could see something a little bit different, and I hope we do, because there are 14 minutes that need to start counting down. This is going to be, hopefully, third time lucky. Touch wood. And we will see how that goes as they come through the left-hander at turn number 11. Right, that's more like it. We need them to get racing, because I'm sure they want to get out of those wetsuits as quickly as possible, because now we will hopefully go racing to find out who will be the first of 6 drivers that head to Le Mans this coming July. Revs rise, we go, lights out, third time lucky, and this time Stout gets the jump on Hugendorn and sweeps around the outside to take the lead, and up the inside, I think that's Huben in the 8. Where's Scott Marsh in all of this? He's down in 5th position at the minute. So he's managed to make up 1 place at the moment as they go through turn 4 for the very first time. It's side by side between Huben and looks like Vandenberg and also Hugendorn, who's now dropped. He's tried to go up the inside of Karel Stout, as in the meantime Vandenberg has been passed by Marsh going through turn 6. And then Marsh just suddenly drops off. So I'm not too sure what happens there. Oh, 2 have spun into turn 7. And they've gone backwards, and we've got another spinner. Is that, who is that at the, who, is that Karel Stout? Karel Stout, I think, has spun. So 2 drivers spun at turn 7. Karel Stout went spinning just outside of turn 8. And that has meant that Dean Hugendorn again retakes the lead. So he has been thrown a pirouetting lifeline there. And there is Maximov just behind Vandenberg. So at the moment, Hugendorn leads. Stout, my apologies, now is in 3rd place. And as they come across the line to start what's been an interesting lap 1 thus far. Hugendorn leads. Huben in 2nd position. Stout in 3rd. Pappenberg, Marsh, Ruyen, Rodkin, Menton, Paulsen. It was Vandenberg and Maximov that looks to have gone spinning off at turn 7, but they are all still running at the minute. As Karel Stout is now coming back under fire. You remember what happened last time when he encountered Tom Pappenberg. Pappenberg retired, but that is the battle for third on the road. And at this particular moment in time, if Hugendorn was to finish in third place, Stout, devoid of any sort of penalties or anything, would have to win in order to take the overall crown of BNF champion, BNL karting series kickoff champion in 2020. So at the moment, Dean Hugendorn did have a lead of around 1.9 and 1.7 seconds. The gap now between him and Mies Huben, also from the Netherlands, so it is a Dutch 1-2 at the minute, is now 3.371 seconds. Still plenty of jostling for position, and that is from second to fifth place, and that means that Scott Marsh now is in the bottom part of the top five. That means he's got an opportunity here to try and close in on the three in front and hopefully get past as soon as humanly possible, which seems that Tom Pappenberg will be the one that will be in the Brits' line of sight heading into turn 8. They come out of turn number 9 as Marsh goes up the inside of Pappenberg and also tries to go past Karel Stout, but has enough only to get past Pappenberg. Pappenberg now goes back into the toe of the Brit heading into the right-hander at turn number 10, with Huben going wide, Stout running quite neatly through that corner. We've got 10 minutes plus an additional lap. Ruyen, Rodkin, Menten, Vandenberg, Maximov and Paulsen round out the 11 strong. So all drivers still running, but Hugendorn is again running away with this. And it's put his, well, he had one hand on the ticket to Le Mans. Let's have a look at the fastest lap, because the driver that sets the fastest lap in this race will also get a PL8 design. But as I say that, there is a lot of changing, a lot of toing and froing, as Pappenberg definitely having to fight with the likes of Rodkin, and the pair go side by side into turn 5. Rodkin makes the move up the inside of the 48. So Pappenberg now down into 7th place. Jake Menten not too far behind. Karel Stout has dropped all the way down to 9th position. So it's not been very, very easy at all for the youngster. As there is more action still to come, as there's a move up the inside that is behind Rodkin, as Karel Stout now goes 3 abreast nearly with Maximov and Paulsen, as Stout goes spinning 180 degrees the wrong way at turn 10. Might have just been caught out by the conditions, but Karel Stout's run at a Le Mans ticket is now truly over. And as I was saying that, I've just found out that Dean Hugendorn is the fastest driver out on the circuit. However, there has been an interesting little development, because, now let's have a look. Karel Stout puts on the brakes, the rear end steps out, and he can't control it. I think he might have just gone in a bit too hot, probably got caught out, and spins the wheels, brings a little bit of mud onto the tarmac, but the main thing is that Karel is now back out on the circuit, unfortunately now running in P10. So Scott Marsh, I've just been keeping an eye on. He's now nearly 6.5 seconds behind Dean Hugendorn. As we could have a bit of a side-by-side tete-a-tete encounter going down into, looks like Rodkin and Ruyen have been battling away over what is 6th place. So Hugendorn leads from Marsh, Huben, Vandenberg, Pappenberg, Rodkin and Ruyen, as Hugendorn now comes through the final corner. So the gap now, well, Scott Marsh has just set a personal best of a 1 minute 21.180, but Dean Hugendorn looks to be the only driver that has gone sub 1 minute 21. He's done a 1 minute 20.387. The last lap he did was 1 minute 20.488. So still, there is still time, about 6 minutes and 30 seconds plus an additional lap still to go here in the Micro Max final, second final, and then after this we will have the Mini Max second final as well. So those that end up in, those who end up getting the opportunity to set the fastest lap will get a free PL8 design race helmet bag courtesy of that company. A big thank you to Maurizio Pilotto for him to provide those out of the kindness of his heart for these young drivers. Of course, these race helmets are not cheap, especially when they are painted to a specific livery that a driver requests. And as I said yesterday, the drivers have their own identity with regards to the race helmets. As you can see, the contrast in the SP Motorsport colours for Dean Hugendorn, and then you have a look prominently in orange there. One of the more noticeable colours that you see on the Dutch national football team, and also with the fact that now we have got a yellow and someone has gone off of turn 4. Oh, crikey! That was close. Now someone span off of turn number 4 and came onto the track, and then there was another driver that nearly went up the back bumper. Not easy to see with the spray at these particular conditions. As you can just see, the heavens have just sent a deluge down our way. So it's difficult out there. It's not easy. These drivers are being tested, and they are having to use so much feathering of the throttle, of the steering inputs, because everything is a bit more sensitive in terms of throttle application and modulation. As we see there that there is a definite battle happening, and that is between, I think that might be Mick Vandenberg and Huben again battling over position. As no, Vandenberg and is in third, and it's Huben and Pappenberg that are now battling, with Pappenberg getting the advantage. Scott Marsh now is running in the 1 minute 20s. Good lad. 1 minute 20.857, but still that is about 0.47 off of the fastest lap of this second final, which is in the hands of Dean Hugendorn, who now leads by 8.4 seconds. So unfortunately the ticket to Le Mans will be out of Scott Marsh's reach, but he still has time to try and get a PL8 design race helmet bag for his, well, as for what they say is it's a skid lid, but it is a race helmet, more importantly. Another slangy term from the UK there, unfortunately, has ended up in my vocabulary again. So some good work here from the Micromax drivers. They have shown that they can race pretty convincingly well, and we've had some great action all the way through the weekend. So Pappenberg now up into fourth, past Mies Huben from the Netherlands. So the gap now between Hugendorn and Marsh, now nearly 9.4 seconds. Vandenberg rounds out the top three. Pappenberg in fourth place, just 2 tenths ahead of Mies Huben. Then it is a further 3 seconds back to Jake Menton, who was unable to complete the formation lap on the first final a bit earlier on this afternoon. Van Rooyen, Boaz Maximov, Karel Stout, now recovering the young Belgian from PG Motorsport in the 33. Ended up, is now in 9th place ahead of Erik Poulsen. from Sweden, with Tion Rodkin from Belarus rounding out the 11 strong. All drivers still on the same lap, still circulating. It's about a 35-second spread between the front bumper of first place driver of Dean Hugendorn and then the rear bumper of where the transponder lays on the kart of the number 14 of Tion Rodkin. Scott Marsh, in the meantime, has started to close up a little bit on Dean Hugendorn. We have just over a minute and a half to go, plus an additional lap. As again, there has been a change, and it looks like Mies Huben has got past Tom Pappenberg for position. So very, very decisive there from Mies Huben, who's fighting with Mick Vandenberg earlier on earlier on today. As there's a replay there, that is the number 2 of Victor Poulsen, Erik Poulsen from Sweden. So Poulsen again was another one that was caught out at turn 10 and went to the grass on the far side of the corner itself. As I can just see how much Tom Pappenberg is wrestling with the steering on the number 48, trying to keep up with Mies Huben. As Dean Hugendorn will now cross the line with just 27 seconds to go, putting him on the penultimate lap of this race. Scott Marsh now crosses the line, 1 minute 21.176. He was nearly a tenth and a half quicker than Dean Hugendorn. The gap now 7.83 seconds, but it's going to be close, but not close enough for the number 47 from Dan Holland Racing. Mick Vandenberg and Mies Huben rounds out the top 4, but Huben gets switching back with Pappenberg. So Pappenberg goes up the inside of the number 8 on turn 2, then returns the favour on turn 3 and makes the move stick by the apex of turn number 4. Nice little dice there between these two towards the back part of the latter part of the race, as the timer has now expired, as Dean Hugendorn goes down to turn 10 for what is the penultimate time of the weekend. It's been a pretty convincing campaign for just the kickoff for this youngster from the Netherlands. So, last lap board is shown to Dean Hugendorn in the number 98. Had to settle for a step on the rostrum alongside Scott Marsh in Karting Campos 2 weeks ago at the Winter Cup. So Marsh now starts his final lap, lap number 12 of this race. Mick Vandenberg in third, a further 4 seconds adrift of Scott Marsh, as Huben and Pappenberg swapping positions like it was going out of fashion. But Jake Menton has closed up on Pappenberg in the dying stages, so he's about 9/10 of a second or thereabouts just behind Ruyen, Maximov, Stout, Poulsen and Rodkin, and it's not over yet between Huben and Pappenberg. But it's going to be one weekend that someone will look back very, very fondly indeed, as our leader now comes through into the right at turn 10 for the final time. What a drive from this youngster representing the Netherlands. He's just got 2 corners to go, and the checkered flag will wave, and pretty much rest assured, provisionally speaking, Dean Hugendorn will head to La South, and he's going to do a double victory here at Karting Genk. So provisionally speaking, Dean Hugendorn, who on the 8th of March 2020 has pretty much secured his place at Le Mans for the International Trophy. What's more, he's done the double because he's also set, provisionally speaking, the fastest lap of this race, a 1 minute 20.321, which gives him a brand new protective race helmet cover thanks to PL8 design from this very afternoon. So Dean Hugendorn wins the BNL Karting Series kick-off here at Karting Genk, ahead of Scott Marsh, the Winter Cup champion from 2 weeks ago, by 8.652 seconds. Mick Vandenberg rounds out the top three, ahead of Tom Pappenberg in the 48. Mies Huben, Jake Menton, Van Rooyen, Boz Maximov, Erik Poulsen, Karel Stout and Tion Rodkin all finished the race with just over 43.6 from first to 11th.